As you're settling down, just let the breath start to flow with deep inhales, long, relaxing exhales. There's this sense of excitement to be with unity, this excitement in our bodies, knowing that they're going to stretch and good things are going to happen. So as we're just taking these good deep breaths, let's begin to connect with our intention for today's practice. Today I was thinking of the idea of how for the first half of the year up to the summer solstice, there's increasingly more and more and more light every single day. And then now, leading from the summer solstice, now that we've passed it, heading toward the winter solstice eventually, we're getting more and more darkness every single day. So it's almost like our year is divided in half of it being more yang, higher activity, more and more light, things start to grow. And then the other half being more yin, is starting to head to more and more darkness. It doesn't seem like it right now, but in another couple of months, we'll really start to notice it. And with that increasing darkness, it kind of puts us to more yin. So with this being the week of the solstice, it's a really fun time to play with those contrasting ideas of yin and yang. So in yoga, yang activity is when we're constantly flowing or moving. And then the yin is when we take a moment to just pause and stay still. And so we're going to be playing with those contrasting actions, those contrasting ways of being with our body. And so sometimes we'll be in more activity, sometimes we'll be just in stillness, even for a full minute or two. So with these contrasting ideas to lead us on, filling this balance within our system, let's begin to take the knees into our chest. Just take easy rocking movement, left and right with the hips, or forward, backward. Give it a couple of good breaths. Good. Largely, we're focusing on our hips today with both the yin and the yang stuff. So already, let's release this left leg down. Take a brief moment for this right leg to get a good stretch up to the sky. So the muscles just expanding, stretching nicely. Take another good inhale. And then exhale. We're grabbing onto the side of that right foot if you can reach it for happy baby pose. If the foot's a little too far, just grab the shin or whatever you can reach instead. And we're going to be with a little bit of that yang activity going on. So this could be rocking the hip left and right. It could be letting yourself straighten the leg up to the sky and then introduce a gentle bend back into it. It doesn't necessarily have to be fast activity, but just have the leg just constantly easing its way deeper and deeper toward that hip joint. Good deep breaths just flowing through our system. Take another beautiful inhale. With our exhale, start to slide the left thigh in. We're taking our right ankle to that left thigh, setting up our figure 4 stretch. So our hands can thread around left. That's beautiful. Use that grip strength to help introduce your leg inward toward the deepest stretch the hips still happy. You could have stillness for a few moments here, or you could have gentle rocking. And I'm easing deeper and deeper through that hip. Either stay in the figure 4 if this is about as tight as the hip can go, or continue to cross the right thigh more tightly over the left side, and then try to grab onto right and left ankles, the hands that are closest to that side. Good. If you're with that good cross, you're grabbing in, you notice it totally shifting exactly where we're feeling it through those hips. In that new good spot, just enjoy a few breaths. A good inhale. Exhale. Releasing our hands, that left foot finds the floor for a moment, and then both knees continue to tilt all the way over to that left side. Let the arms stretch open. Feel that twist starting to pull that hip, low back, all the surrounding areas into that gentle stretch. Another good inhale. Exhale, hips start to return back to the earth. Let both legs straighten up to the sky. Then both legs open out to a nice wide figure V shape. Hands can come to the inner thighs to help weigh the thighs open. Good. Another breath flow in and out. Both legs return up. We'll drop the right leg all the way down, relax into the earth, and then try to grab onto this outside of the left foot. Setting that happy baby. Introduce the movements here, rocking, straightening and bending. Give it some time, give it some patience. So let's take 2 more good breaths in and out. And then as right thigh starts to come back in, take this left ankle onto it. Set up the hug. So you absolutely could choose to stay right here or start to let that left thigh cross more tightly over. Each hand grabs onto the ankle that's closest. Pull it in. If you ever are flexible enough, you don't really feel the stretch, I invite you to gently pull it in even deeper. Sometimes there's extra space when we invite that extra little bit. Good, so arms are gonna start spreading open. Begin to let the crossed knees tilt all the way over to the right. Good spinal twist. Be right back here for one more good inhale. Nice exhale. The knees come back up, both legs up to sky. Take it to that wide shape one more time. Easy breaths flowing in and out. Deep inhale, flowing to belly. Exhale, legs come back up. We're going to work our way up toward a seated place, so it might feel nice to roll like a ball a couple of times, giving the spine a little massage. If you prefer just to come directly up instead, what we'll do is head eventually in toward a nice cobbler's pose. This cobbler's pose will be a little bit of that yin quality, so we'll be here a bit longer. So if sitting up tall is difficult for you, this yin pose, instead just scoot yourself all the way up to the wall. You can just sit up nice and tall, let those hips open on their own. You could have hands behind you also. If you know that your hips are great going forward, you are welcome to tilt forward. It's up to you, the exact variation. Some of these easy breaths flowing for a little while. About 3 more good slow cycles. Start to rise up. We're going to help these hips go even deeper. Give ourselves a chance to cradle out the right leg. Trying to keep the posture as tall as possible. You could have hands on the foot and knee, or you could slip a little bit deeper. Maybe go a little bit slower than you normally do for rocking. So give it lots of time to ease around as deep as it can go with that hip. Sooner or later, you'll feel like that rocking is kind of eased about as deep as it'll go there. So when you get to that spot, you'll choose maybe cross leg or maybe shin stack. If you're doing shin stack, you do want both sitting bones to easily be down. Top foot a little bit flexed just to make sure the ankle is comfortable. So from here, we'll spend a little bit of time in this spot. So the first thing we'll do is just ease our hands forward. I love this one for how deep it gets into glute area. So try to breathe directly to that tightness. Yep, if you've got a bolster, you could lean onto it. Nice and easy. So this lower half of our body is going to stay in this yin quality, staying very still. The upper half is going to take some different movements. This will help some of the surrounding muscle groups to continue to realize, okay, I can stretch too. So first things first, with hands on the ground, walk your hands over to the right, however far feels comfortable without lifting either sitting bone up. So how this gets us into the left hip low back. Just a couple of big deep breaths right there. Walk the hands over to the left. This one especially helps us to pull away from that right hip area. This one might be a little bit tight. Just breathe into that tightness. Walking back through the center. And then walking in, our spine rises. Right hand is pointing to the right, left hand up. Even melting over. Leave the right ear dropping down to right shoulder. Left hand starts to return its way, a slow journey back down to hover above the ground. That will start to pull the left half of the neck and the shoulder into a nice stretch with us. And then ease the spine all the way up. Left hand cuts to the left, right hand up and over. Let that left ear drop to left shoulder. And the right arm takes its journey back downward. Love that one spot when it starts to get closer to the ground where it just pulls the shoulder and neck open. Good. Sitting back up. Right elbow winds under the left elbow. Try to do the full palm wrap if you can. Take a moment for the elbows to lift up to the sky, a little arch through the spine. Then curl the elbows into the belly button. Pausing here a few bonus breaths. Okay, release hands, spine can come back up. Good, so that right hip has had quite a bit now. So let's begin to plant both feet nice and wide. Let's take a few windshield wipers to help ease that right hip back toward activity eventually. Doesn't immediately want to have any movement, so just take your time. Nice and easy. Beautiful. Sooner or later, that'll feel pretty complete. So then right leg just gets to relax. We'll cradle out the left. Do good rocks. Maybe sometimes I consciously have to slow myself down a little bit. That helps me kind of go all the way to the depth that this hip will travel. Keep on going until you feel like you've about eased into what you can get right here. And then same thing, maybe cross leg or maybe shin stack, top foot flexed. When you're there sooner or later, you'll just ease your way forward. Some good time, some good breathing. Keeping the lower half of the body, again, very yin. Let's start to ease into some of those other stretches. So hands on the floor, walk the hands over to the left. Feel that low back opening up nicely. through the center, over to the right. This one might be the tighter one through that left hip. Go back through the center, walk yourself back in. Left hand planted to the left, right hand up and over. Start to drop the right hand down, left ears to left shoulder. Feel that nice shoulder opener for a moment. And ease the spine all the way up. Right hand plants to the right, left hand up and over. Let the right ear drop down. And then left hand starts to reach from its way down. Spine back up. So left elbow winds under right. Lift the elbows up, take a little back bend. And elbows into the belly button. Just feel that whole spine take a rounded posture. Space in between shoulder blades spreading open, the back of the neck dropping to the stretch. More inhale. Exhale, gentle release. Let that left foot be free. Take a few more of those windshield wipers, just inviting the legs back into activity. We'll start to do more and more movement for the next segment of class. So this is helping to remind the hips and the legs, okay, I can have activity. I can be flexible and strong. Good. So when the hips feel like they're a little bit more loose, let's work our way out to our knees. The first thing we'll do is just wag your hips left and right. You're letting your whole rib cage jet to one side, then ribs to the other side, just easy back and forth. That helps us fill a little bit through that outer hip area. When we've done a few of those, we'll start to let the hips go forward and backward. So backward toward child, forward toward cobra. Choose the rate that feels good for your body, back and forth. Movement, know that that's welcome. Maybe one more of each. And pausing in a nice neutral kneeling position. We'll let our right knee lift up to the right side. Let's do 3 large knee circles to each direction. So choose your first direction, taking 3, 2, 1, reverse, 3, 2, 1, drop the knee down. Left knee, 3, 2, 1, reverse, 3, 2, 1, drop it down. Take a couple of cat cows. Letting some of the other muscles at the back have some of the movement. Follow the speed of your breath up and down. One more cycle. And we'll take a couple of breaths. Your puppy pose, hands walk forward, but hips stay over the knees. And go as far forward as you can. You should be feeling the heart drop down. Really good arch through that whole spine. And start to take your hips all the way back into child pose and just enjoy a few bonus breaths right now. Good inhale. Nice exhale. Work on planting the hands. Tuck the toes, lift the hips. And let the knees and the hips have some movement in this first down dog. Lots of wiggling, trying to loosen up some of the areas that are tighter. Good. Float the right leg up to the sky. Step that right foot in between hands. And as we drop that back knee down, we're going to start easing nice and slow between the hips, going as far forward as they can see. And then straightening that front leg, bowing forward. Again, you choose the pace. Could be faster for some, could be slower for others. Helping the hamstrings, so some of the surrounding muscles to stretch. And then getting the psoas, the front of that left hip. Take 2 more movements to each. And you'll pause for a few bonus breaths at the tighter spot of the 2, whether that's the front of the hip or the hamstring area. A nice bonus breath in. Out. This leg swings back. Some of us might want to take a moment with child's pose. Some of us might want to go straight to down dog. There might be a few of us who want to take a flow. So plank, lowering chaturanga, cobra, to downward facing dog. Good, so let's head up for the second leg. Maybe float the left leg up to sky. Step it in between hands. Back knee drops down. And start that easing back and forth at your own pace. Hips looking forward. Front leg going straight. Like little by little, the muscles are slightly more willing to be part of the party with us. Go for about 2 more of those cycles. Whenever you finish your second set, pause at the spot that feels the tightest of the two. More inhale. Exhale, swing this leg back. Child pose, down dog or a flow. Drop into knees, just to watch for a moment. This next one can be done either from kneeling or from plank. If you're kneeling, your right leg will stick back, right knee to shoulder, back and down, then left leg back, knee to shoulder, back and down. If you're going from plank, it'll be more like a Spider-Man crawl, where right knee to right shoulder, left knee to left shoulder. It's back and back. So think of this as the hip especially trying to get as high up as it can. At the same time that we're building other good muscle groups. The core, back, mobility happening. I'll do a countdown. You can always drop out earlier if you need to. We'll go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A brief child pose. Maybe let your wrists roll out. Here we'll take it from a down dog, couple of breaths, as long as it feels good here, eventually to a forward fold. Maybe pause 3 or 4 breaths before you come up to the top. Or maybe some of us are ready to just get right up there and hang heavy. One more inhale. Exhale. Inhale, rise. Good. Hands it up at the heart. Beautiful. We'll do a few things that help us continue to get into those hips. So let's start off here with this right knee trying to float in front of us, trying to work on that balance. And then the leg, that right leg will touch back down to the ground. Try to go back and forth a few times, floating the knee up, touching down. You could even add the arms straightening as you touch, coming in as you balance. We're all at different paces, that's great. Perhaps taking about 3 more. Two. 1. Back up. Plant this right foot down. Left leg, same thing. Float and touch. maybe 3, 2, 1. Floating back up. Drop the foot down. Right thigh floats up. We either kick it out muscularly or we grab under the thigh. Try to feel that leg stretch out. Good. One more inhale. Exhale, sweep that leg back. Warrior 3, trying to balance. Lunges the toes. Take a little twist. So left hand hooks or go down to the elbows, parallel. You start to unwind the torso. Just a moment longer on the toes, trying to let the hips lower down another inch or 2. Hands go up, maybe slightly back. Good, back heel down, inhale, warrior 1. Exhale, open, warrior 2. Try to feel the hips pulling open away from one another. Extended a side angle, front elbow down, the other arm stretching. And reverse to the back leg. Front knee is still bent. Good, rising back up. Turn the toes open to 45-degree angles. We do some arm circles. Our legs are gonna go up and down in this little squat. So arm circles in one direction, 5, 4, yep, you got it. 3, 2, 1. Just switch the arm direction circle. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring hands to the inner parts of the knees to push the hips open as we lean slightly forward. Good. Start to straighten the legs, turn the toes forward, a wide angle forward fold. The knees roll up. Either heel toe the feet together or jump the feet together. Good. Facing up to the top of the mat. Our next little challenge. Our right leg tries to stick out in front and then take its way up onto the other thigh, squatting down a little. Arms are just whatever the best balance point is. Maybe try to go for 5 total. Slow motion is also fine if you want to go slower instead. Three, 2, 1. Right foot down. Left leg out. And figure 4, trying to bend the standing leg. And back up. It's okay if you're faster or slower, but it's about 4. 3. 2. 1. Left foot down. Float the left leg past under the thigh. Maybe kick the leg out straight. Sweep back, warrior 3. Try to land just the toes. A twist, maybe it's just the left fingers grabbing to the thigh, so twisting to front door. Maybe it's to the elbows. Good. Good, as we unwind. Try to sink the hips another inch or two lower and sweep up to the side. Maybe lean back just a hair. Back heel down, warrior one. Open up, warrior two. So the hips just spread away, open from one another. Front elbow to front thigh, the other arm forward, extended side angle. And up to reverse. Coming up. Turn the toes open, 45-degree angles, got it. Let's do 5 more of the arm circles to each direction. So, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, reverse. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. Hands press the thighs open. And then it's nice to add a little twist. So right shoulder dips forward. Left shoulder forward. Good. Back through the center, straighten the legs, turn the toes forward. Nice forward fold. Everything from here on out is nice and slow. Lower activity, back toward that yin state. Give these muscles time and space. A little bit of time with frog pose. So oftentimes what I'll do is I'll drop my hands down and then walk my feet backwards off the mat. I can fold the 2 edges of the mat in, adding extra padding. Maybe you also add your blanket in. And then ultimately, we're gonna drop down to knees as wide as they can go open. Peeking at the mirror, you can see if the hips stay in line with the knees. That's what we're trying to go for. About as wide as we can take it. And then we go down to the elbows. Keep breathing, letting gravity start to take over. That's much more of that yin quality. Everything's starting to cool and slow, just like the earth will gradually start to cool and head toward that winter. Plants eventually working towards stagnancy. Tolerate this. Let's try to go about 3 or 4 good deep breaths left here. Getting every single slow exhale. Give permission for those inner thigh muscles to relax just a bit. One more good inhale. With my exhale, usually to come out, what I'll do is let my hips slide forward. I'll take some windshield wipers, so take care not to kick anybody. Just toes up and then left and right. Feel that mobility returning to the hips. So when that feels pretty decent, we'll come back onto our mat, opening the mat out. And we'll take a pigeon pose. So some of us like to go to pigeon from kneeling. Some of us like to go into it from down dog. It's your choice how to approach it. We'll take our right leg forward, pigeon. Back knee back. Easy, lowering it to that depth. And the hips have space. Deep breath flowing. One more deep breath for this cup. And we'll start to ease our way out to the second half. Some of us might take a kneeling recovery. Some of us might take a down dog recovery. Give the hips a chance to kind of shake out or wiggle. Only when you're ready for the left leg, approach it through your means. Easing back into this. About 2 or 3 more slow, deep breaths. So fill the body, fill the breath pace. All of it continue to go slower, more internal focused. Maybe after the next exhale, take our recovery through kneeling or through down dog. And from here on out, it'll be our own body's journey back to our Shavasana. So some of us might want a few bonus seated stretches. Some of us might want to go all the way straight to our back and take a few of those things that we did at the beginning, like the knee crossing over, or doing that spinal twist. It's all up to you to explore this journey, but it's you listening to your body. Your body telling you what it wants and what it needs. And then us just listening and applying until sooner or later, it's just natural to head in toward that beautiful Shavasana. Some of us might be almost ready for it. Some of us might be a few minutes from now, and that's okay. It's all at our own pace. Here we'll begin to deepen our inhales. Deepen our exhales. Introduce little movements back to fingers and toes. Ankles and wrists. Stretching out like we're waking up first thing in the morning. Maybe taking a nice fetal position off to one side. Doing a few bonus breaths here as we're coming back to presence. Maybe 2 or 3 good deep breaths until sooner or later you feel ready to rise. As we come up, joining our hands together in front of our hearts, we recall this idea of yin contrasting with yang. Oftentimes, I see our society as very much a yang society, a society all about doing. And so perhaps in the second half of the year, we can start to take on more of a quality of being present, being with our family members, being with this moment. And so with this deeper yin, internal-based quality to lead us for this long path, this half of the year now toward the winter solstice, for this deeper self-care, with this to lead us on, let's wrap up the time we shared together today with the sound of Om. Deep inhale now. May we be filled with light, happiness, and peace. Namaste.